Happy morning dear students. Welcome to Science Online class. In today's science class, we are going to revise lesson 2 matter in physical science. So in this class, we will be learning about what matter is made up of and about the 3 states of matter. So you know that solid, liquid and gas are the 3 states of matter. So in this session, we will be discussing about the properties of a solid, liquid and a gas, and also about the change in state of matter, that is the interconversion of states of matter. So first we see what is matter made up of. So before knowing what matter is made up of, first let us know what is matter. So everything we see around us is made up of matter. A pen, a pencil, the air around us, water, and even a bottle of ink, and everything, each and every object is made up of matter. And this matter has 2 important components in it. So that's why they define matter as anything that occupies space and has mass in it. So what is matter? Matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. So you can see that matter has 2 main components. They are volume and mass. So first let's see what is volume. Volume is the space occupied by an object. So common example is the space occupied by this ball. Okay, just imagine this is a football. So the space occupied by a football will be greater than the space occupied by a very small cricket ball. So I can say that the volume of a football is more than the volume of a cricket ball. So next we'll see about mass. So what is mass? Mass is the amount. It is the amount of matter contained in a substance. And you can imagine a large jar of jam and a small jar of jam. So in which has a more amount of matter? Yes children, you are right. The bigger jar of jam contains the large amount of matter or mass. Similarly, you can see in this larger container of oil contain greater amount of matter, whereas the smaller container of oil contains very less amount of matter. So mass is the amount of matter. It is the amount of matter contained in a substance. So we have seen what is matter. Next let's see what is matter made up of. Matter is made up of very tiny particles, and these particles are called as atoms. So atoms are the indivisible particles, and there are millions and trillions of atoms in just a small speck of dust, and you cannot see these atoms. So atoms usually they do not exist independently, which means they cannot stay alone. They can only join together and stay in groups. So when atoms join together, they are called as molecules. So what are molecules? Molecules are group of atoms which are joined together. So when atoms of the same kind, when same kind of atoms combine with each other, they are called as molecules of elements. Whereas when the atoms of different kind, when different atoms combine with each other, they are called the molecules of compound. So the common example of molecule of element is the hydrogen molecule. Okay, a hydrogen molecule is formed up of 2 atoms of hydrogen. So one molecule of element hydrogen is made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen. So it can be written as H2, which means one element of hydrogen is made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen. And the second common example is oxygen. One molecule of element oxygen is made up of 2 atoms of oxygen. So we could see that the number which is written below, it denotes the number of atoms. So next let's see few examples for molecules of compounds. So I told you different kind of atoms combine together to form the molecule of compound. So water, carbon dioxide, sodium chloride are the common examples for a molecule of compound. So H2O is the formula for water, CO2 is the formula for carbon dioxide, and NaCl is the formula for sodium chloride. So do you know what is sodium chloride? Sodium chloride is the common table salt we use at our home. A molecule of compound water is made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. So it forms a molecule of water. So we can say a water molecule is made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen, whereas a carbon dioxide molecule is made up of 2 atoms of oxygen and 1 atom of carbon dioxide. A CO2 or carbon dioxide molecule is made up of 1 atom of carbon and 2 atoms of oxygen, and the sodium chloride molecule is made up of 1 atom of sodium and another atom of chlorine. So this is how the molecules of compounds are formed by the atoms of different kind combined together. So next let's have a look about the intermolecular force and intermolecular space. The force of attraction between the molecules are called as intermolecular force. So each molecule of a substance, they have some force of attraction between each other, and this force of attraction, it holds the molecules together, and this force of attraction that held the molecule together in a substance is called the force intermolecular force. Then what is intermolecular space? The space between the molecules in a substance, they are called as intermolecular space. So what is intermolecular force? The force of attraction that holds the molecule together in a substance is called as intermolecular force, and the space between the molecule, the space between each of the molecules, they are called as intermolecular space. So based on these properties of intermolecular force and space, we will be learning about the properties of the 3 states of matter, the solid, liquid and gas. So children, you can take your books and turn your books to page number 3, lesson 2, matter. So now we are going to read the lesson and we'll be learning all the concepts under the 3 state of matter and change in state of matter.
Students can turn your books to page number 3 and you can underline the important terms in this page. First line, anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. And in your second paragraph, you can underline the first line, the amount of matter a body contains is called as mass. And in the third line, the space occupied by an object is called its volume. So you can turn to the next page now. You can mark what is intermolecular force. The molecules of a substance are held together by an attractive force called intermolecular force. And also you can mark what is intermolecular space. The space between the molecules is called intermolecular space. First, we'll revise about the 3 states of matter. You know that matter exists in 3 states: solid, liquid and gaseous state. And the state of any sample of matter depends on the intermolecular force between its molecule. So the state of matter, whether either a solid or a liquid or a gaseous state, it depends on the intermolecular force and the intermolecular space between its molecules. So that's why we say that based on the intermolecular force and the intermolecular space, the state of matter is determined. So first we'll see the characters about a solid state. In a solid, the molecules are closely packed and the intermolecular force is very strong. So you can see that in a solid the molecules are very tightly packed, which means there is no space between the molecule and the intermolecular force is very strong. So the force between the molecules is very strong, so it prevents the molecule from moving away from each other. So that is why the solids are rigid and incompressible. Rigid means they are strong, they are firm, and incompressible. You cannot compress a solid. Why we cannot compress the solid is because there is very little or there is no space between the molecules. Only if there are space between the molecules we will be able to compress it so that the molecules will move closer, and they have a definite shape and volume because the constituent particles are held strong so they cannot move. So solids usually have a definite shape and a volume. Because the constituent particles means the atoms or molecules, they are held together very strongly by a strong intermolecular force. So because of the strong force between the molecules, they cannot move away. So this is why, because of this properties of a solid, they exhibit the following characteristics like they are rigid, they are incompressible, they have a definite shape and a definite volume. Next, we'll move on to the liquid state. In a liquid, the molecules are less closely packed than in a solid. So, the molecules are less closely packed in a liquid. So in other words, we can say that the intermolecular space is greater in a liquid than in a solid. So in a solid, we have seen that there is no or very less intermolecular space, but in a liquid, the intermolecular space is little bit greater than that of a solid. And the intermolecular force, the force between the molecules, is less when we compare it with the solid, because the force is very strong in a solid but the force is comparatively less in the liquid. So the molecules of a liquid, they have got the freedom to move from their fixed positions. Even though they can move away from their fixed position, they cannot leave the volume of the liquid together. So due to these factors, liquid shows the following characteristics. The liquids can flow, which means it can be poured because the molecules can slide across each other, and the second characteristic is they are almost incompressible but less so than in solids, which means they are almost incompressible but still they are little bit compressible when we compare it with solids, because they have small intermolecular space between the molecules and they have a definite volume. They have a definite volume but they do not have a definite shape because they assume the shape of the container in which they are placed. So we can see that liquids do not have a definite shape, but in which a container we pour it, they assume the shape of that container. So we'll summarize the characteristics of a liquid. They can flow, that means they can be poured because the molecules slide over each other. They are almost incompressible and they have a definite volume but they do not have a definite shape. Next, let's move on to the gaseous state. In a gas, the molecules are packed very loosely and the intermolecular force is far less than in a liquid. So, in a gaseous state, the molecules are packed very loosely and the molecules are far away from each other, and the force between the molecules is also very less when we compare it with the liquid. The molecules move freely in all directions at a high speed. Okay, the molecules can move freely in any direction. They move with greater speed, and this is why the gases have the following characteristics. The gases are highly compressible in nature. You can compress a gas because of the larger intermolecular space. Since the intermolecular space is larger, we can high compress the gas. And they have no fixed volume. They do not have fixed volume or a fixed shape. So they fill up whatever space is available. So let's summarize the characteristics of a gaseous state. They are highly compressible because of the larger intermolecular space. They do not have a fixed shape nor a fixed volume, but they fill up whatever space is available to them. Students, you can have a look at this picture. The smoke from an incense stick or the fragrance from a room freshener, it quickly spread throughout the room, and it even can spread to the next room. You can even smell it in the next room. This is because the molecules of gas, they move freely at a greater speed, at a high speed in all direction, and they usually fill up whatever space is available to them. So that is why we are able to feel the smell of a incense stick in the next room, or the fragrance of a room freshener in our room. Next, let's see about the change in the state of matter. Matter changes its state when we heat or cool it to the right degree. The process is called interconversion of state because it is a reversible process. So, matter can change its state when we heat it or when we cool it, and this process is reversible. For example, a solid, when we heat it, it changes into a liquid, whereas the liquid, when we cool it, it changes back to the solid. There are solid to liquid interconversion, liquid to gas interconversion, and solid to vapor interconversion. So first let's see about solid to liquid interconversion. When a solid is heated to a particular temperature, it changes into a liquid. So children, when you take a piece of ice from the fridge, when you keep it outside, it changes into liquid. So when you take some cream from the fridge and when you place it outside, it melt after some time. So this process is called as melting. The temperature at which a solid melt is called its melting point. So what is melting? When a solid is heated to a particular temperature, it changes into liquid, and this process is called melting. The solid to liquid in conversion is called as melting. And the temperature at which a solid melt is called the melting point. The melting point of a solid is also the freezing point of the corresponding liquid, because the liquid freezes. Liquid freezes means the liquid change into solid if it is cooled beyond a particular temperature, and this point is called as freezing point. So the freezing point of the liquid and the melting point of the solid is same. For example, the melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius, which is also considered to be the freezing point of water. So the solid coexists with the corresponding liquid at its melting point or the freezing point of the liquid. Next, let's see about liquid to gas interconversion. Liquids change into vapor at temperatures far below their boiling points, which means liquid can change into vapor even before reaching the boiling point. This is how wet clothes dry without having to heat them. So when we dry the wet clothes, we don't heat them, but still the water in them evaporates and changes into vapor slowly. So however, when we heat water, the process is faster. Very soon the bubbles start forming through the bulk of water and water vapor rises. So when we dry wet clothes, even though we do not heat them, the water in them evaporates or they change into vapor, but this process is slower. But when we heat water, the process is actually faster. when we heat, very soon the bubbles start forming in the water and water vapor rises. So we say this as boiling. So this is true for all the liquids. It happens in all liquids. When a liquid is heated to a particular temperature called its boiling point. Okay, at the boiling point, when we heat a liquid to a particular temperature called the boiling point, the bubbles start rising throughout its bulk and change into vapor. This happen at a faster rate than at a lower temperature. So the temperature at which the liquid boils when the bubbles rise, this temperature is called the boiling point. And the boiling point of a liquid is same as the condensation point of its vapor. So when vapor is cooled below this temperature, it changes into liquid. So this process is called as condensation. Children, condensation is the process by which a liquid changes into water when it is cooled beyond a particular temperature. So this process is also called as liquefaction. So the process of vapor changing into a liquid is called as liquefaction or condensation. As in the case of solid and liquid, at the melting point, the liquid and vapor coexist at the boiling or condensation point. So we say that the solid and liquid coexist at the melting point. Similarly, the liquid and vapor coexist at the condensation or the boiling point. The last is the solid to vapor interconversion. So some solid change directly into vapor even without passing through the liquid state, and this process is called as sublimation. A solid changing directly into a vapor stage is called as sublimation. The common example is mothball or naphthalene and camphor sublime at room temperature. So camphor is a kind of alcohol. So both of them sublime at room temperature. You would have noticed naphthalene balls, we place it in the cupboards or book rack. So after some time you would have seen the naphthalene balls would have disappeared. It is because the solid has changed into vapor and they have sublimed at the room temperature. So this process of solids changing directly into vapor without passing the liquid stage is called as sublimation. So to summarize, in this session we have seen that any substance that has mass and occupies space is called matter, and matter has two important components, two criteria. They are mass and volume. A matter must have a mass and a volume. Mass is the amount of matter a body contains, and the space occupied by an object is called its volume. What is matter made up of? Matter is made up of tiny particles called as atoms. Atoms cannot exist independently, so they join up to form molecules. A molecule is made up of two or more atoms of the same kind or different kind. Same kind of atom join together to form a molecule of element, whereas different kind of atoms join together to form a molecule of compound. Matter exists in three states: solid, liquid and gaseous state. We have seen that solids have a definite shape and volume and are rigid and incompressible, whereas the liquids have a definite volume but they do not have a definite shape. They can flow and they are more compressible than the solids. And the gases have no definite volume nor a definite shape. They are highly compressible and they fill up all the available space. Next, we have seen about the change in state of matter, which is called the interconversion of state. And this is a reversible process, and the process by which a solid changes into a liquid is called as melting, and the process by which a liquid changes into gas is called as evaporation or boiling, and the process by which a gas get converted into liquid is called as liquefaction or condensation, and the liquid to solid conversion is called as freezing, and solid directly changing into gas is called as sublimation. So children, I believe you must have understood the lesson. You can read the lesson in your book and you can memorize, you can learn the important terminologies, and you can also complete the book back exercise by yourself. So students, the answers for the book back exercise will be sent in the evening. You can counter check with your answers and you can make the necessary corrections. And also complete your classwork. Copy down the notes I have sent in your classwork notebook and learn this lesson. And also, as your monthly exam is nearing, monthly test is nearing, you can prepare for the monthly test also and do your best in your exams. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.